Welcome to bestrongerlivelonger.ca special webinar. Today we're talking about why hormones are responsible for weight gain and what you can do to naturally manage your hormones and maximize your metabolism. In part 1, we'll cover insulin and the thyroid. Now, hormones sound like a big scary subject, so I've asked Dr. Sue Love and Dr. Sapna Flower to help us clarify some of these confusing concepts simply and give you some practical tools that you can start using today. So welcome to our webinar. Thanks very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So I'm going to dive right in. I get asked a lot of nutrition questions from my clients. Lately, and really for a long time, we've been hearing about low carb diets and removing sugar from the diet. So I'm wondering if you can explain to us what effect sugar has on the body.
Definitely, Chris. Sugar in the form of glucose is a simple carbohydrate, and its function in the body is to provide energy for all working cells. There are many different sources of carbohydrates, and it's eating simple or refined carbohydrates that can cause problems in the body, as they tend to increase the level of blood glucose more quickly than something that is more complex.
Right. So we hear a lot about avoiding these spikes in blood sugar and blood glucose levels. So how do foods influence blood sugar, and why is it important to keep these levels stable?
So basically, when you eat, the pancreas secretes a hormone called insulin, which acts to help bring glucose into your working cells and keep the blood glucose level at a stable level. What this eventually plays out like is, if your blood sugar is stable, we feel well, and you don't have those ups and downs in energy. When blood sugar dips or is too high, we can sometimes feel less energetic. So when blood sugar has a tendency to fluctuate up and down too often throughout the day, it can lead to something called insulin resistance. And what basically this means is that insulin stops working at its receptor site as effectively as it should, meaning that the sugar can't get into the cell. And so what this eventually plays out like, we get more cravings for sugar because the cells don't sense that the sugar is there. Insulin insensitivity can eventually lead to diabetes, which can also lead to cardiovascular disease and other chronic conditions that we have most commonly in North America, like high blood pressure and cancers.
So it sounds like it's a vicious cycle. The more sugary foods we eat, the more our blood sugar spikes and then crashes, and the more we crave sugary foods. Am I correct?
Exactly.
So I'm wondering, can you give us some practical tips that we can start using today to help manage our insulin levels?
Definitely. So number one is engaging in regular exercise. So that's a combination of cardiovascular and weight training. Both of these forms of exercise improve insulin sensitivity because it encourages the cells to use the sugar that's in your bloodstream. The second is eating a whole foods diet that includes protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. And as you were asking before, Chris, in terms of simple sugars and the blood sugar going up and down quickly, spiking and crashing, simple sugars, so say for example, something like a jujube or a gummy worm, will cause your blood sugar to spike up really quickly and then crash down very quickly. When you instead eat something that's a complex carbohydrate, so say for example a piece of fruit, the fruit contains fiber, and because of that the blood sugar won't go up and down as quickly or to the same extent. And then even better is if you add in some sort of protein and healthy fat, which further stabilizes the blood sugar and energy. So instead of your blood sugar going up and down, it's going to go a lot more moderately like this. So you don't get that spike and that crash, and you don't get that spike and the crash in energy as well. And what we like to encourage for all of our patients is to think of every meal and snack as a mini meal. So making sure that you're having some complex carbohydrate, some healthy fat, and some protein as well.
So you've mentioned making sure you get protein at every meal. Could you give us some examples of protein-rich foods that you recommend for your clients?
Most definitely. So nuts and seeds are great sources of protein, legumes, lean meats, eggs, some dairy sources, cottage cheese. Any other things come to mind?
Those are the main ones.
Those are the main ones.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned fats. Now, I still see a lot of fat-phobic people, people who think they should be reducing or eliminating fat. What are some examples of the healthy fats that you mentioned that you recommend?
Definitely. So again, nuts and seeds. So nuts and seeds are a great source of both protein and healthy fats. That could be in the form of whole nuts and seeds or also nut and seed butter. So for example, almond butter. Other healthy fats would include avocados, extra virgin olive oil, nuts and seeds, and fish or fish oil.
I'm wondering, do you have any special offers today for the listeners of this webinar?
We do. Something that we wanted to mention is here at the clinic, we have something called an infrared sauna, which is really beneficial for both detoxification and also for weight loss. For those of you who aren't familiar with an infrared sauna, it works differently from a conventional sauna in that their infrared heat actually penetrates the body right down to the fat stores. Therefore, it breaks up the fat stores, also mobilizes toxins, stimulates circulation, and the sweating promotes detoxification. It's also great to help boost your immune system and decrease post-workout soreness in your muscles by improving circulation through all this tissue and also ease the aches. And as part of engaging in this webinar, we wanted to offer listeners a complimentary 15-minute naturopathic consultation, as well as a trial of one infrared sauna session so that you can come and experience the benefits of this amazing tool.
So there you go, folks. Just drop your email address in the opt-in box, which is next to this video, and someone from Restore will call you to book a free infrared sauna session at Restore Naturopathic Clinic. Be sure to like the Be Stronger, Live Longer Facebook page. We'll be posting future webinars in our hormone series, as well as videos of recipes and exercises to keep you feeling your best. Thanks for listening.